Hey everyone, thank you for tuning back in. My name is Ryan from RJM Fishtails. Today I want to kind of go over the Shimano SLX DC and the Corrado DC and how we utilize them in fishing fresh and saltwater. So we use both the Corrado DC and the SLX DC from Shimano. I usually, the SLX is a great budget way of getting into the DC line with Shimano itself. So I basically use this since it's a little bit less expensive of a reel. I use my SLX versions for all my saltwater applications. And all I do is when I come home, I rinse these off, a little bit of soap and water, hit them a little bit of WD-40 and just touch them up. And I've been utilizing this now for 3 years and I haven't had a problem in the salt. We use this for inshore fishing, for like redfish, trout, snook, fluke, etc. Corrado DCs I primarily use for freshwater. Now I've used these in saltwater before, and same thing, I just rinse them off, but being these are a little bit less expensive and I won't feel so bad if I lose one to the salt itself. But I mean, you can see in 3 years how smooth it still is with just a little bit of maintenance, and that's all done. I haven't taken these reels apart, never had to fix them, never had to send them off, and all my reels are anywhere from 3 to 4 years old. These all come in 3 different gear ratios, I think 6.3, 7.2, and 8.2. And same thing for the Corrado. I think this is a 6.2, the ones I use most of the time. They have about 11 pounds of drag, so I don't have any issues with pulling in any redfish or any large bass with these. 4 settings on the side. You got 1 through 4. It's just a little dial that you turn. You kind of got to use your fingernails. But I use setting 2. I have no problem with backlashing on this setup, even when I'm casting 1/8 ounce jig heads with a very little grub tail. Once I've had somebody say to me that, oh, the DC reels from Shimano are for beginners. No, they're not. I've been fishing now for about 25 years, maybe 30, and these are not for beginners. These are for serious fishermen who don't want to have to deal with that 10 or 15 minutes trying to pick out a backlash or actually cutting it completely out and retying your rig on, because that 10 or 15 minutes, in my tournament fishing can cost me the difference between first or second place. So these are not just for beginners. These are for serious fishermen who want to cast very finesse jigs into wind. We always have to deal with a lot of windy conditions on the water. So this eliminates all the backlash. Once you tune this into how you want it, you can go between settings 1 and 4. I mean, this thing, I have not had any backlashes on since I've been using them. Once you set this to level 2 is where I keep it. It pretty much covers all your baits. Now you can set this down to level 1, which is very little breaking whatsoever, and just thumb it like you normally would. But I believe that these reels are for everybody. Now it's a great reel to start as a beginner, just to get used to casting a bait caster, because you can basically set this up to level 4 and that gives you a lot of breaking. Obviously it doesn't cast that far, but it kind of gets you used to casting. And as you get better, you can start just dialing that back to level 3, level 2, or even level 1. And I can just go out and cast hundreds of times a day and not have to worry about trying to pick out a backlash, etc. As always, I'll catch you guys in the water. Thanks for watching.